All right. Hey, everyone. So, welcome to today's training. Today, my goal for this training is to show you the business advisory world and how I made more than $1 million in my first year as an acquisition advisor, and what's the path for you to potentially do the same. Now, I don't know where you're at in life, if you're thinking you can be further ahead in your personal, professional, financial life, or you're trying to make money, if it's remotely or creating some kind of a professional business or a professional role. And hopefully you're not trying to do some random online scheme, right? Like whatever all the latest crypto craze is. And maybe you feel overwhelmed. Maybe you like the idea of acquisitions. And if that's the case, you're not alone. Right? Maybe you feel unfulfilled at your work, at your existing business, and maybe you want to do something else, something that is more fulfilling, something that you love, but you feel stuck, you're bored, you're confused. And I can tell you, if that's the case, I can definitely relate. Like I spent years of my life being in the same place, feeling ashamed many times, afraid to take chance on ideas or opportunities. So I can definitely resonate with this, right? Like, I don't know if you know my background, but I started selling flowers in the streets when I was around 16, 17 years old. I was bartending just to make some money. And my life really changed. Like, it wasn't until I accidentally discovered the world of business acquisitions, which really allowed me to understand business, right? And scale. And that eventually led me to be at this point involved in more than 100 acquisitions worth more than $1 billion worth of total transaction value. And today, I really want to share kind of like my journey and my process and provide with you with the same access that I got over the years. And the reason that I think it's an amazing opportunity is because there's $10 trillion in business transactions that are expected to change hands in the next 5 years because baby boomers retiring. Anyone here heard about that? Hopefully, if you're here, it's not the first time you heard about that. So there's a unique opportunity in the market of people looking to buy or sell a business. And some of you here potentially looking to buy or sell a business yourself if you're here, right? So it means that if you're thinking or heard about this term of being an acquisition advisor, it means that people like you and me can sell shovels to potential buyers and sellers, right? And that could be also alongside you trying to buy a business. So that's the beauty. I think a lot of people try to buy a business right away, and it's definitely doable. I mean, we're doing this all the time with our accelerator members. The only challenge that I'm seeing there is that some people want to get into acquisitions with no experience in business, no single dollar in their pocket, and many times not a lot of time to even put into it. So the acquisitions advisory model can allow you to do it part-time, earn some cash flow, plus get yourself in front of the right people, build deal flow. So when the right deal comes in front of you, you can buy it as well from all the initial work you've done around deal flow, around working with buyers and sellers. You learn about the space, you learn about the lingo, and this can also give you an opportunity to go from doing something part-time in your other job or business into doing full-time acquisitions, because we have advisors, and I'll show you in a bit, making thousands of dollars every month just on retainers before even the percentages at closing. So the business model is like, imagine if your business is making money by introducing people to each other. So what I'll do now is I'll start to go through the playbook, and I'll show you how you can make money with this connection between buyers and sellers. And the business model, for those of you who don't know, is pretty simple. You earn 1 to 10% of each deal at closing of the deal. Plus, I suggest to take an average $5,000 in an upfront retainer. Now, a deal can take 2 to 6 months to close. but it's worth the wait because you could earn an additional 50 to 500,000, obviously depends on the deal size, or more in one day in payday at closing, right? And that's kind of like, for example, some of the accelerator members here, like I've shared a bit about the deal or the advisory. I don't remember who I shared with last week on our call on a deal that I was involved with. It's a more than $10 million deal that I was advising on, and it just closed right now. And just to give you an idea, that's a super long deal. Like it took almost 2 years to close. But then you get those super meaningful paydays that can add up to the retainers. Then eventually, if you're also doing acquisitions, investing, buying companies, then all this world, that's at least my world. It's fully around acquisitions, right? It's the buy, it's the sell, and it's the advising on businesses. So becoming an acquisition advisor, like it's a straightforward way to build a business and also, like I said, develop a strong network of investors, business owners, bank, lawyers, accountants, which could be beneficial to you no matter what business you'll want to have in the future or buy in the future. So here's how it works in a nutshell. You go out there, you find people who want to buy a business, right? So potential business buyers. It could be business owners, public companies that want to grow by acquisitions, can also be individuals that want to change their career and buy a business. And you connect them with people who want to sell their business. And those are usually the best deals comes from people who are looking to retire, baby boomers who kind of like worked in the business for the last 5, 10, 20, 30 plus years sometimes and are kind of like tired. They made enough money and now they want to sell it for a buyer. And you can be the middleman in between. And in a minute, I'll also show you how we find those people as well, the buyers and sellers. Then, like I said, you can charge a retainer for immediate cash flow. So you charge, let's say, $5,000 at least. Plus, at closing, you earn a percentage of the deal. Like I said, between 1 to 10%, depends on when the deal closed and if you're working with a buyer or seller. And the business is pretty much you going out there, you're doing it repeatedly, and you're a business. So think of it, it's kind of like being a real estate broker, but it's much more lucrative and with much bigger upside. And you don't need any broker license. Like we have a way to position it in a legal way that makes sense, even if you don't have a license. So in my opinion, also compared to real estate, it's easier since the field isn't as competitive right now. And think about it, most people who try to start a business from scratch, they have a massive learning curve, right? They have to understand the industry, manage fulfillment or product inventory, handle a lot of details themselves. And if you're an acquisitions advisor, it's basically the type of business where I've never heard anyone talking about it. And the beauty with this business model is that the most important skill for you here is to learn and understand how to connect with people and hopefully enjoy connecting with people. And that can be on the phone or on Zoom calls. Like you don't have to meet those people in person. Obviously, you can, and there's great benefits to it. But right now, for me, I'm constantly on the road. I'm constantly in random places, and I do everything online right now. Like 95% of what I do is online. Which allow you to not deal on this type of business as an advisor. You don't need to deal with the day-to-day operations of running a business and scaling if you don't want. You can also scale this business, which I'll show you in a bit how you can do it. So instead, your focus is on building relationships, right? And you let a lot of the other tasks you let the professionals handle. If it's the legal, the financial, the technical aspect of the acquisition, you don't need to do that. It's more similar to being like a salesperson or a marketing advisor. That's how I see this world of acquisition, being an acquisition advisor. So if you're someone who can see yourself becoming or is a good salesperson, like this can be a really good opportunity and obviously very rewarding. Like I know a lot of people that are salespeople full-time for their full-time job, but they're working on small transactions. So in here, you're basically a salesperson, but you're a salesperson for $1 million deals. And like I said, it's not something you have to do necessarily full-time. And we have great stories. Like we just launched our advisory certification not too long ago, and we have one of our guys, Dustin. He got his first $1,000. So he charged for his first deal $1,000. Like I think it was in his first month, in less than a month. And he'll also get percentage at deals of the deal at closing. And I'll actually share the video that he just recorded with us. Let me show you.
It was a good one.
Oh,
Like basically, this guy had talked to me like a month ago, kind of about hiring me, and I just kind of based on the acquisition stuff, I thought what he's trying to do like makes total sense with what kind of the acquisition advisor thing is trying to do to help him grow his company through kind of acquiring these independent operators. So positioning that way, like I was actually surprised that he just like he already knew me, but he just like clued into it right away. Like I thought it was gonna take like several calls and maybe he might say yes, but he just like he was right on it. So it's kind of cool.
that's awesome, man. Good stuff. So what's the plan now to find some deals? So
Yeah,
he
so
paid you upfront retainer, and now you're gonna take a percentage from each. How much percentage you're gonna take from future deals?
these are like companies doing $100,000 a year roughly to with one guy. So he's trying to like acquire these companies, bring them into his kind of conglomerate, if you will. Like he's kind of
Yeah,
small too, but anyways, um, I put it as I probably put it too low, but I also want to get my feet wet with this too, without
yeah.
over promising. So I did $1,000 for the retainer, and then I put it as a 6 month contract, like till the end of the year, basically.
I
Kind of like
I I think it's awesome. Like how easier it's gonna be to close your next deal after you've done this one.
right, and he'll be a good recommendation too.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
you have confidence in the process right now and having conversations and closing a retainer up front and closing a deal for future deals. It's just a matter of like any business, right? It's just a matter of like doing more of that and doing it better.
yeah, and I think like one of the ways that I've failed in any sort of business that I've tried is I listen to all these programs and all these get involved with all these stuff that they teach you to charge top dollar, right? And that you're worth this and you shouldn't work for less. But when you're just starting something, like you can't demand top dollar.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of work your way into it. You need the credibility.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying in the beginning, I tell you guys like if you don't have the confidence to charge a return, just work for free, right? And ask for a small percentage on success fee. I mean, there's no downside to him. Your only downside is doing some work, which is fair if you're just getting started to build your confidence. So it's all good.
Yeah,
I think it's beautiful, man. I think good job. It's super exciting.
thanks. Yeah, like I was surprised the conversation about the retainer. As I was talking to him about it, it seemed like it was like really, really cheap. Whereas before, it's like I don't know if I can get $1,000 from this guy. And then I'm talking to him like I should charge him like three times as much.
Like
So
think about it this way: if he's gonna buy companies doing 100,000 a year, I don't know how much profit, but let's say at least 20-30% profit to
yeah,
him,
probably.
right? So, and he's paying you 5-10% of that, he's gonna potentially earn that amount for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And that's on the buy side, right? I mean, potentially in the future you can have on the sell side agreement, and there you can take 5-10% at least. Like
Right.
it's just common, right? It might look like right now too much, but it's super like that's the industry standard.
Yeah, it's really cool. The
Yeah,
opportunities are great, but it's hard with the confidence though, like getting started with something, you don't really know what you're doing.
it's okay. Yeah, it's it's part of the process. Just jump into the water and kind of like focus on imperfect action versus perfect inaction, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. I'm proud of you. I think it's freaking awesome.
Thanks.
What's stopping you now, Dustin, to get to a point where you have 3, 5 more people like this, right? Especially if I mean, in the same space even. Like I've got no doubt that some of the deals you'll introduce to him, he wouldn't be interested in, but maybe another potential company would, right? And then you can get
Right.
retainers from 3 companies. percentages when deals are closed, and then you also position yourself as the expert in your field. So it's kind of like win-win-win. You have your micro niche, you become the expert in on figuring that, and then you build the momentum.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like if I'm talking to some of these potential companies, small guys to acquire, and they're interested, but he's not, then I can go find other companies that might be interested in pitching the idea that I'll help them put this together, and I already have like people I could connect them with. It could
Yeah.
really
And you can even
expand.
run, as soon as you have few buyers in the same sector, you could even run like a, what's the word I'm looking for? I forgot the word. Like a bidding thing, right? So you tell everyone, hey guys, we're seeking for offers. You have until the end of the week or until the end of the month, whatever it takes
Yeah.
to make an offer, and we'll pick the best offer, right? So you run some kind of a bidding war between everyone to get the best deal for everyone.
Less than 24 hours.
Yeah, guys. So I just wanted to share with you this one so you get a sense where it's not just me talking, right? The Dustin, like you heard him, he tried so many businesses, it didn't work out, and then puff, first deal, $1,000 a month. I mean, not too bad, right? As a side gig to help you get into this world of acquisitions, and your main goal is just to introduce the buyer to the seller, right? So I think all of us at some point in our life made some introductions to people, between people. And if not, do that. I mean, it's fun either way. So it's simple, it's exciting, it's fun opportunity to learn about people. You get to a point where your calendar fills up with amazing people that you can talk to. So buyers, sellers that you get to know that are ready to get to close deals. Like some of those sellers, like you'll see, you'll talk to people that been running their business for the last 10, 20 years, and it's exciting. Like they'll share with you their life journey, or buyers that want to change their life and like work for themselves. And that's a lot of what I've been doing in the last few years, right? So and I can tell you that after trying different approaches over the years on how to find buyers and how to find sellers, I believe that lately we really found out um, the best approach that I've seen in all my years in acquisitions. And I've tested a lot. Like I can tell you, we spent millions of dollars on different campaigns and advertising and whatnot to find buyers and sellers. And what we got right now is super, super exciting. Like I'll share with you some of the stuff that we're seeing. Let me share my screen again. So this is from one of our advisors last month's income, but this is what the calendar for him looks like. All right, so it's hard work and it is getting retainers. You see like 5,000, 5,000, 2,000. And I'll share with you in a bit also what it looks like as far as the messages that we're getting. And I'll also add another thing, which is this is what it can look like over time. So this is a message that I received, and this is an inbound message, right? So after people get to know you, and now people know me and us because of our name, acquisitions.com. So people send me opportunities like this, like $1.2 billion casino deal in Monaco. You don't need many of those to make really good income. I'm still in conversations with them. I don't know where it will go, but hopefully you see where like what's the opportunity on those type of things. So yeah, this is what's possible, and I think our advisors succeed are able to succeed really quickly because they have access first of all to our playbook, which is at this point it's more than $1 billion worth of deals of playbook. Plus, right now, which it's what I'll share today, like fully transparent, I'll share with you, we have our Elite done for you, our Elite Plus option, which is to get access to my marketing team and to my sales processes to run things for you as one of the advisors, right? Plus, obviously, all the sales negotiation training and all our network of legal, banking, financial experts, and whatnot. So for that advisors that I showed you, and I'll show you another case study in a bit, we provide them with instant credibility. So they can immediately from day one position themselves as an acquisitions.com advisor. We also build them a website on our page. We build them a page on our website. I'll show you an example. And they get an email of acquisitions.com, right? So they can use our acquisitions.com name. So I'll show you what it looks like. Let me share my screen again, real quick. So you can get your own page like this with your name, with your image, with your contact details, where you can list your deals, and of course, more information about us. So this could be your immediate authority thing, right? Imagine your name, your email, your image from day one of starting the business. Like, who do you think a potential buyer or seller will take more seriously? Someone who's emailing them from acquisitions.com or someone who's emailing them from joeschmo.com websites? And I'm not trying to brag or act like an asshole here. I'm just telling you that because I've been on both sides and I know what it's like to send someone a message on LinkedIn or on email from that domain with that credibility. I can tell you I was able to access and open doors to pretty much any public company executive, tons of CEOs that you would never imagine would even talk to me. Sometimes reply just because they see that, because it's an immediate like, okay, this guy is an authority, and they never heard about my name. It doesn't matter. And obviously, the fact that we have Oromozy nowadays with acquisition, that doesn't hurt us either, right? So it's kind of like a bit of a mix of from day one, you're an authority, people take you seriously, and you're able to get into the conversation from day one as someone credible. And that's why you don't need to be an expert right away. Like we can fill your calls with your calendar with calls, and you just need to follow the scripts, right? Follow the script. And of course, be kind, connect people to the right people, and let the experts. Your goal is not to become someone who knows everything. Your goal is to know how to find the experts, which we have access to in our network, and then let the banks, like the lawyers, let the investors, let them handle the actual technical side of the deal. Your job is to bring them, enroll them, and then kind of like be the quarterback. So if you can comfortably talk to people on the phone, like I know you can make this business work. And like I said, you don't need to worry about finding leads if you want my marketing team to do the work for you. Like this is the same team that's been with me for years. So if you know me for a day or two, probably seen some of our ads. So they're working if you're here. Now I want to share with you a financial model on what the first year for you can look like, which basically come from my first year in business. This is a simplified version of it, but it could definitely show you what's possible. So hopefully I'm not overwhelming you with this data and with those numbers, and I'll zoom in a bit so you guys could all see what we got going on here. So this is what the next 12 months for you can look like, starting from November, December, January, whatever you want to decide to be your first month. And I wanted to show you what real business looks like, because I know there are a lot of people that promise you, hey, make $1 million in your first year, but they don't tell you about their expenses. So I want to show you what that looks like with actual expenses for an acquisition advisor business. And that's very reasonable, right? Don't get me wrong, this is scaling and pushing hard and putting pressure on yourself, but this is how you can net $1 million in your first year. So how do we do that? We start here on the top left and we'll go down and I'll walk you through it one by one so you get a sense of what it looks like. So what I suggest for people is like, don't get into this business if you don't have like 3,000 on to spend on yourself, on marketing, on advertising. And again, this model is aggressive. Like, I don't know, we probably maybe have some of our advisors here as well. that are not aware of our done for you elite package that we literally just launched. So their process sometimes is slower. Instead of spending money on advertising, which is basically using Meta ads, and Google AdWords, they're doing manual work. So they're going out there, sending emails to business owners or buyers, to buyers and sellers, sending emails, sending LinkedIn messages, and building their personal brand. Kind of like what I'm doing, right? It's pretty much following my blueprint, which is creating content online, text and videos, doing outreach messages, and getting leads like that. It works, but this is what works fast, which is to put money on advertising. Your cost per call right now, and I'll tell you in a bit why our cost per call is so low, because if you're going to do it alone on your own right now, it will cost you at least $200, $300 to get in front of a buyer or a seller, because you're not using the acquisitions.com brand. For those of you here who are familiar with marketing, if you're using different advertising platforms like Google or Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, they have their pixel. And our pixel, like we, with acquisitions.com, I think we exist now for 7 years, something like that. So from day one, our pixel is getting aged, which means that Meta AI algorithm can find you more of the same people in a cheaper cost. Plus, again, we have the acquisitions.com brand. So people see an ad from acquisitions.com, they will reply most likely more to a Joe Schmo page and an ad. So that's our cost per call. Assuming that you're spending 3,000 on advertising, and again, this goes directly to the platform, right? To Facebook, to Google. You're gonna get 30 calls booked, and we assume not everyone is gonna show up on the call. Some people flake, reschedule, forget about you. So we assume 67% show up rate. This also varies between 50 to 80%. And we assume that you'll close 10%. So 1 out of 10 people that you'll talk to will actually enroll with you on a $5,000 retainer. Your cost per client will be $1,500, and you'll bring in $10,000 in your first month just from retainers. So you made $10,000 in your first month. You spent $3,000. You made $7,000 your first month. And I really believe it's possible. I know it's possible. Again, if you've never been on the phone with people and you're not comfortable talking with new people, then it might not work for you, because you'll need to talk to people who saw an ad, who saw some content, who know about acquisitions.com, and you're on the phone with them and you tell them, hey, I want to support you in the process of buying or selling your business. If you're not comfortable doing that, then follow a script. And we have a script that we use where you can pretty much follow our words word by word. If you're not comfortable doing that, this is probably not the right business for you. At least initially, because let me show you what month 3 can look like. So month 2, I just assume that you're doing a little bit more work, right? So you're taking 40 calls instead of 20. And again, what is 20 calls a week? I mean, you could, a month, sorry, you can do 20 calls a month in 2 weekends if you're putting the work. Like I've shown you the calendar of some of my other advisors. Like you can take 30, so we're taking 30-minute slots, right? So you can take 2 calls an hour, 5 hours, you're taking 10 calls. You can do it in 2 days. You can take that amount in your weekends. If you're really serious, if you prefer to watch the latest Netflix, obviously I know that they have a new NBA TV show, then watch the NBA TV show. It's your choice. So next month, I assume that, okay, you saw some momentum, you like it, and you're taking more calls, and now you're enrolling 4 people. So you made more money, you doubled your business. The 3rd month is where it starts to get interesting. And again, those numbers are very, very much similar to the numbers that I've seen in my first year. Maybe I had the advantage back then, don't get me wrong, because I had my experience in acquisitions. I sold companies, I had videos online. So it was a combination of people knowing me from my videos plus seeing my ads. I'm not neglecting that. But I didn't have the acquisitions.com domain back then. It was just a random name, Moran Pober, that sounds like an asshole Pober with a weird accent that was able to make it. So, I mean, I think some of you could do better. Here's where it gets interesting. In the 3rd month, And again, that's on average. It might take you 2, 3 more months. You might be able to do it faster. On average, a deal, you're able to close a deal, assuming that you have both sides aligned. You have an agreement. You could get a deal done within 3 months. But like I shared with you before, some deals, like the deal that I worked with right now, took almost 2 years. That's why I'm saying you're only going to close on one deal from about 6 people, 6 to 10 people you talk to. Some of them will go through, some of them won't. It's part of the process. Not everyone. Some of your buyers are going to give up. They're going to be like, okay, I don't want to buy a business anymore. Some of your sellers are going to give up. They're going to be like, you know what? I want to stay running my business, or I decided to give it to my son. Things happen, right? But assume that you close one deal every 3 months. That's where it gets interesting. And this is also assuming that you're not doing bigger deals, right? So this is like on $1 million deal, just on the buy side, to give you an idea. I've done $50,000 commission just on the buy side, not even on the seller. You can take 50,000. So that's why I wrote down commissions on the buy side, which I think is the fastest way to go, because it's easier for us to get in front of buyers, and it's very doable to close them fast, even if you don't have experience talking to business owners. That's why I think this module is the best to get things done faster. If you want a sell side model, it's going to be a bit different, because yes, I believe that to talk to a seller, you'll need to have more education, which we provide, but it takes more time to learn. Like if you've never seen a profit and loss statement, if you don't know what is debt coverage ratio on a loan, then to work with a seller might be more difficult, because when you talk to a business seller, like you're talking to legit business owners who are like, want to make sure that you're a professional that helps them. On the buy side, yes, obviously you always need to be a professional, but it's easier to sell yourself because you basically sell what we have in acquisitions.com, which is, hey, we'll help you find businesses too that are looking to sell, and we'll connect you with our network, which is banks, investors, lawyers, accountants. So you're more of a quarterback, marketing person, salesperson. You see what I mean? Like, do you guys get the difference? So third month, boom, we have to close a deal. And look what we've done here. We added a line to our expense. And also we're spending every month, right? So I assume here you reinvest your profit. So your first 2 months, you're just looking to reinvest your profit back into growth. You're not taking home the $7,000 you made to buy yourself I don't know, to lease a Ferrari, right? You're being smart. You're building a business here. The third month, this is where it gets interesting. You can hire, there are a lot of people out there right now. Maybe you heard about that industry of high ticket closers. Tons of them are out there, are willing to work for 10% of the deals that they're closing, which guess what you could do? You can hire, if you have enough calls that you could provide a salesperson and you can support them in the process, which obviously is something we can help you, then you can pay them 10% of your retainers. And your responsibility at this point is to only fulfill on all the clients that you enrolled previously, right? So your work becomes to only support those clients. So you continue with this. And again, this is an aggressive growth, right? So you reinvest your profit every month into ads, you're getting more calls, you can potentially hire. So here, this could probably be done with just another extra closer. Here, you'll probably need 2 salespeople already on the 5th month. On the 6th month, we assume that we close another deal. And here I kept it stable. So after the 6 months, you don't need to grow anymore, just keep things stable. Obviously, business is not like that. You're going to have 1 month up, 1 month down, and hopefully over time it's going to grow. But this is just like Excels are out there to keep things simple. So this is assuming that you have no growth whatsoever from month 6. You keep the same numbers the same. You close the deal every 3 months, which is, again, doable. And you can see the total numbers, the total gross profit end of the year. Right? You need to pay taxes on that, unless you're doing what I've done, which is becoming a global citizen and have residencies in different countries. It's doable, guys. So I'll just quickly go through some of my notes here. what's the difference between getting results and people are successful in this versus not? You need ongoing new creative. So when we run ads, you constantly need to change your ads. Otherwise, there's what we call banner blindness. So people are going to get used to your ads. They're going to get bored. They're not going to click. You need new ones all the time. So it's constantly updating your ads. Cold leads versus warm leads. The colder the lead is, the harder it is to enroll them as a client, as a buyer or seller. The warmer it is, the easier. So obviously, I assume it's the same for you here. Maybe it's the first time you've heard about acquisition.com or me, maybe it's not. If it's not the first time, you're probably more connected to me. There's a reason you're here on the Zoom call with me. Same goes with you trying to enroll buyers or sellers. It's the same process. The more people know you, the easier it will be. Know you, know your brand. Having authority, right? So when they're on the phone with you, do you have, oops. When they're on the phone with you, do you have an authority or not? Are they taking you seriously or not? Being good at sales. Obviously, some people will convert 10% of the people they talk to. Some people convert 30. Like for me, at my peak when I've done it, I converted 1 out of 3 of people that I'm on the phone with. Because I was willing to be flexible, right? And I was very good. Like my background is marketing, sales. Like I'm very much familiar with that space. And also just doing the work, right? So having a pre-call follow-up system. Guess what? If you're getting someone to book on your calendar or you get the lead and you're not messaging them, you're not texting them, you're not emailing them to remind them on the call, there's lower chances that they'll show up, right? Same goes post-call, right? So having post-call CRM tracker to help you improve conversions, to make sure that you're following up with your people. And in general, after you enroll a client, to make sure that you have enough deals, banks, investors, buyers, due diligence team to help you closing the deal. All right, so financial modeling, this is what we've been doing here. And just to have a call math, right? So I think this is really good to see for someone who've never seen the potential, because you see, like, this is reasonable. It is a bit aggressive. Like you do need to put some stress here on yourself to make things work, to be on the phone, to take calls, to like improve your skills on the phone, to do follow-ups. And you need to plan. Like you cannot get to those numbers unless you get this amount of calls. And to get those amount of calls, you need to spend most likely this amount of dollars in ads. But you don't need to start here. You don't need to spend $90,000 a month right away. You start with 3. And only when you see ROI with 3, then you can scale. And a proper funnel. So what works really well for us is a proper funnel, which means that people are seeing content from me at this point at acquisitions.com, and they fill a form to make sure that they're not wasting our time. And then they book a call on our calendar inbound. So we're waking up, we're seeing calls on the calendar, and we just dialing when it's time to talk to them. So I also added here, right? Like, how much would you pay if I got you all those calls here booked? The same calls, right? With my processes, with my automations, with my branding authority, acquisitions.com, like what do you think it's worth? The same calls that I showed you in here. The same ones that we've seen here that are responsible to those kind of retainers and those monthly numbers of retainers from just one of our advisors. And this is a script that I just added here. You can also do this, right? Just go out there and reaching out to people, which it worked great, right? On LinkedIn, on email, and just build your pipeline manually like this. We have people doing that. And actually, Dustin that I've shown you, this is what he's doing. So nothing force you to go aggressive with those ads right away. But this is what aggressive looks like. And aggressive sometimes works in business that want to scale fast. And I'll show you another quick story, because this is what it can look like when things are aggressive. Let me share Mark.
Where we went out to acquire companies, which originally the plan was to acquire businesses to bring together to sell to him. What we actually did was acquire business. What we actually did was get to a position where he paid an upfront 3-month fee of $30,000, which paid for me to set up a dedicated team in the Philippines and teach them and train them based on what you taught me.
Cool. Yeah.
And then those guys are on the case every day hunting. So their job is to call the companies and the specific targets within a company that I'd want to talk to and book 15-minute conversations for me. First thing I do is, are they motivated? And if they're not, I move on. I don't care what the business is. If they're not motivated, they're not going to sell it. So then I'm introducing to them the concept of selling the business. And then I introduce them, once I've qualified them, to my buyer. And what we agreed instead of equity, because they did agree with equity, but once we signed the deal, they came back and said, basically, fuck off. But we agreed a percentage of operating income. Now, all three deals are the same. I'll tell you that one of the companies has a top line turnover of 800 million a year. So, for a first deal, I'm not going to go out and buy a company like that. And to get taken seriously, I have to get very creative on the fly as to how they can do business. And the reason they do business with us is because we're their secret shopper. If they go out acquiring and people find out it's them, the premium goes up by at least 30%. But we can go out and do all the heavy lifting, present the deal anonymously, and they can decide whether they want it or not. If they want it, we get a percentage of the operating income in lieu of equity for the next 10 years. That deal is now generating 50K a month for us. It started off with nothing, but we're now at a runway at 50K a month, and I've done 3 more like that. I've done 2 others like it, which completely funds my operation and all my marketing for this year. But I've got no equity in these businesses. Now, the reality of their market is it's up and down with interest rates. So when interest rates go up at the end of next year, if they do, our income will probably shrink from those deals to maybe 15% of what it currently is. But who gives a fuck? I've got no risk in that deal. I've got good income stream net of between 75 and 150 a month, equivalent run rate when they're all up to speed, and they're not all up to speed yet. If they don't want to buy the companies we present, and they've bought 2, and that's where we're getting the income from, then I can package those up and sell them to competitors because they're my deals. So I'm effectively packaging the deals, and now I'm using those to buy companies properly for this year. So I used to look at these and think I was a fraud, they weren't proper acquisitions, but I'm looking at the money and thinking these are good deals, and they funded my entire operation. So now I've got a dedicated full-time accountant. We outsource anything legally, but we don't do much of the DD on those deals. We just do the initial financial due diligence and present them within a metric and sell what they should pay a particular price, a little bit like a dedicated personal broker, but on a one-to-many basis. So we now go out and offer that as a package, mergers and acquisitions in a box service, but we'll buy it and package it for people when they want a mystery shopper or they can't get access to their in-house team. But while we're talking to them, we're trying to see whether they've got anything to sell that we might want. And we're also doing a lot of direct mail and direct marketing. We were in the US, but we're doing more in the UK at the moment, just because of COVID and being able to get there. Multi-sector, but our approach is not to be experts in them. So to do what you say is hire a CEO with 15 years worth of experience of about 40 years of age. And we're targeting differently. I was looking at businesses that have been at minimum trading 5 years, minimum of 5 million in revenue. So I'm focusing this year on a lot smaller businesses and what I would call more trade-related sectors.
Yeah, so I'll stop because it's starting to talk about these acquisitions, but it just to show you kind of like what's possible, right? And it's just not just me who's doing this. So hopefully it makes sense, guys. It's everything. I mean, this is how you can build a lucrative acquisition advisory business very fast. You need to spend money on advertising. And yes, we do have our fee. So I'll just remind you this, right? I'll share my screen again. So we're launching right now our acquisitions advisory plus done for you elite, well, acquisitions advisors elite members, where here's what we're going to charge, right? So we're going to charge this. We're going to charge 3,000 a month. And guess what? Next month, if you're going to make more, our fee stays the same. So your profits goes down. Our fee stay the same. And this is right now for our launch phase. So it's everything you need to build an acquisitions advisory business for just 3,000 a month, which is our retainer plus ad spend that goes directly to the platform, right? And we recommend to start with 3,000. So we have the certainty that we can get you results that are profitable. So what you get with this, you get leads sent directly to your calendar. You get CRM set up We're going to audit everything. We're going to optimize your system for speed, for follow-up. You get access to the billion-dollar acquisitions playbook, the sales system, the negotiation, the scripts, the training, the network that we have of seasoned legal, banking, financial experts, investors to potentially support your clients as well. And don't get me wrong, we're not reinventing the wheel. You can do it all in your own. Building a team like mine right now will cost you at least $20,000 a month with people that are legit. Think about it, you need media buyers on different platforms. So you need a media buyer for Meta, media buyer for AdWords. You need someone to help you build funnels and pages, right? And that's before talking about obviously our experience and everything that we tested over the years that you don't need to. That I think worth much more in painful experiences that we had and tested. And the time that it will take you to figure out on your own, right? Like we've been doing it a day or two. So, or you could do it yourself or work with us to leverage our experience. So in a minute, I'm gonna put a link below to allow you to join. I can tell you that right now we accept only 5 done for you clients right now every month because it's an agency service and we're taking it slowly. We want to make sure that people are getting good results and we have enough time to put into those clients. It's a month by month basis. So if after 1 month you're not happy, you're welcome to just tell me, hey, I think this is not for me. All good. We also have, for those of you who are not looking for us to run your ads, we have a done with you, more affordable packages. If you can afford this or you miss this month's spots. And I can tell you this, unlike other big brokerages, other business brokerages, they will charge you super high front franchise fees and take a massive cut of your deal and will not send you any buyers or sellers. The reason we're not doing it yet is because we want to build a brand first so we can really allow competitive pricing, which shows you really our focus and the goal to deliver real value through the deals we support. Plus, for me, I have another revenue source that comes from one of my other companies, rollups.com, where we aim to do roll-ups and consolidation and investments in different industries. And those investments can be in advisor deals. That's why potentially we might not take a percentage of our advisors in the future. We might do, I don't know yet. My team is pushing me to take 10, 20% of our advisor deals as well. Right now, it's not a focus of mine. It might be in the future, but just to show you where my incentive is. Like we're in the business of making money, right? We have obviously expenses for our team here, but I know that long-term for my company, rollups.com on the back, and it can be another great opportunity to see more deals that are coming through people that I can trust that represent the company. So yeah, for the next 5 done for you clients at least, 4, because I don't know what's going to happen next month, but right now we just got 1 this month. We have 4 more spots. There's no profit share, just the retainer plus the ad spend that you need to put. And leads can start coming within days. Like we can within few days onboard you, and by next week get you in on calls. You just tell us what hours in the day you're available. It can be 1, 2 hours in a day or whenever you're free, and we put you 30-minute slots that you can talk to right away. And yeah, like I know a lot of you ask, like, do you need to learn a lot? Yeah, there's a lot to learn, but my belief is that if you want to be successful at something, like jump into the water. And I can tell you that from weekend next week, get you into the water, give you the scripts to follow. And after you close your first client, then we can focus on supporting you how to support them. And you'll have training, of course, in the process as well that you could probably binge watch during this weekend on double speed. And also our guarantee is that if for whatever reason you're not able to close a deal or a retainer from one of those people, then we can bring in one of our experienced advisors to support you maybe with some of those leads, and then you could split with him whatever fee is able to retain. So let me share another cool story that is fairly new by one of our guys. Perlov is a smart guy. Let me share another cool story from him. You should be able to
Making
unmute
fast
yourself. And hey, everyone else
All right.
here.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, how you doing, man? Only a few more minutes.
Yeah. Good. Thanks. All good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you for joining. I know you closed some interesting deal, man. So whatever you're open or willing to share, I think will be really, really awesome for everyone to hear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we as I wrote in the chat, I just wanted to share that we did an LOI with a buyer for a business that we have for sale, and I mean, the process for us getting to the point of doing this hasn't been, it has taken a while. So I think that's important to understand too. It sometimes takes a bit longer maybe than you want to. So we started having a conversation with this company already in spring of 2023, and it's a Scandinavian company in a bit of an unusual industry. I can't share that. So they were trying themselves at that point and said to me that they had two brokers that they were working, one in Canada and one in the US. They wanted to that they were supposed to help them sell the business. So we kept in touch, and in October, November, we had a conversation again, and then we basically started off with a little bit of a consulting relating to what it means to sell and how that works and how can they improve the business a little bit in sort of in preparation for the sale. So that's kind of what was the first engagement. After that, we then went deeper in December and started preparing for a memorandum, basically, or a summary, a teaser document that we could then take to the market. So I think that the main three focus areas that we had was their role in the business. Like most people know, SME owners tend to be very important for their business. We try to shift them out as much as possible. And then, of course, the marketing side, they didn't track anything, they didn't have any control really about where the clients were coming from, what the cost of acquisition of clients were, etc. So we started working on that a little bit. And then, of course, preparing the financials, make sure they understand that it's very important that you show good numbers and solid numbers in preparation for a sale. So those kind of the things that we worked for a few months on together. After we then went to the market 1st of February, and it should be said that they have been trying themselves for 2 years pretty much, and they've had a lot of conversations, or maybe 5 or 10 different conversations, which led to nothing. Because, and I know now why, because they really wouldn't know how to talk, or they didn't know how to talk to a buyer, right? So then we managed to we reached out to around 400 or 500 people via LinkedIn, mostly Sales Navigator in their industry, and we did that by our virtual secretary who reached out, and then we had conversations, and so we got 5 conversations started. In the end, we had a quasi offer and 1 real offer. So and the real offer is the one we signed that LOI with now. So that's basically the process in a nutshell of how it came about. So I don't have any questions on
Good
that.
stuff, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing. So maybe if you can share, just to give people ideas, like what are the top line numbers of the business, and maybe like what's the agreement with them, and how did you negotiate specifically that agreement? I think that'll be helpful.
Yeah, sure. So the business is doing around $4 million or euros, and around about $1 million EBITDA. So the conversation for me, I start off as a consultant, and I think we charge $2,500 for 2 months. After which they would then say, okay, look, I think we can get ready to go to market now. I said that's going to require more work from our side, so we wanted to increase the retainer. So we increased the retainer from $4,000 a month. And what we did then is, like you're suggesting in your training, that we kind of offsetting that against the fee that we're going to be charging in the end as a commission. So we're charging a commission of, I think it's 5% in at closing, and then we'll offset the cost that we've incurred during this period then.
Yeah, I'll have to be short. I'm sorry, because I got to jump for another call in a bit, and I want to be able to help you with some Q&A. But just to show you, there are a few multiple ways to do it. But yeah, $4,000 a month retainer plus 5% at closing, not too bad, right? And we can definitely support you in the process. So yeah, just quick note to make sure that our advisors actually represent acquisitions.com professionally. Like we want to make sure that we get people who are professional. We look for people with some basic business acumen who can communicate professionally. Like if you don't think that you can communicate professionally on the phone and engage with the client respectfully and show up on time to those calls to represent our brand in the end of the day, then like feel free to skip this. If you're interested in what I shared today, I'm going to give 3 different links in the chat right now. One of them is for our done for you options. So it's going to be a $6,000 a month payment. The second one is going to be for our done with you, which you can join. In there, you get everything, but you're not getting the leads to your inbox. So you'll need to go and do that on your own. And we show you, by the way, a lot of how to do that. And the third link I'll share with you is a link where you can book a call with my team, where we can answer any other questions you might have. Just remember, we only have 4 more slots available for this month for the done for you. And it's, let me just share those links right now. So you should see that in the chat. And I'm happy to stay for a few more minutes to answer any questions you might have. So let me check the chat. Let me just scroll back up because I see we have a lot of All right. Okay, Anthony is saying, wow, how to get to over 300 calls, surely outsourcing. Yeah, I don't know if it's yeah, it's in reference, I guess, to the amount of calls we're booking on the calendar. Yeah, so obviously 300 calls, I mean, depends on how you look at it, right? If you look at it, it's 75 calls a month, a week, sorry, and 75 calls a week, assuming you work 6 days a week, it's only 12.5 calls a day. Now, assuming you're taking 2 calls an hour, then it's only 6.25 hours a day. Would you work 6.25 hours a day of actual work, not watching Netflix type work, but actual work on the phone, enrolling clients? Would you work that amount of productive hours to bring in more than $1 million in your first year net profit? Right, so it's work, but obviously at some point it might be more beneficial to you to hire someone else so you could focus on delivering more value to your clients. It depends on the type of person. For some people, I would tell them, hey, just keep you taking the calls because you're enrolling better than anyone else. For other people, I would tell them, hey, yeah, probably better for you to hire someone else and you can focus on being the account manager, call it customer success, the person who's providing value, making sure that it is there for the client for any question. But that's business, you know. It's if it was easy, everyone would be a multi-millionaire in their first year. It's not easy because it's simple, but it's not easy because most people are not willing to do the work. And I didn't want to sugarcoat it. I really wanted to show you what a P&L looks like. Maybe I like missed maybe, I don't know, up to $500 extra expenses each month, which basic stuff like a Zoom account, Zoom, like this one, which costs like, I don't know, $50 or something. But other than that, you won't see many more expenses for a business like that. The main expense is advertising and your team, right? And then you have even most of your software costs. I didn't mention that, but like if you work with us in our done for you elite, like we take it on us, right? So all the CRM, all the funnels, all the stuff that usually will cost you between 500 to 500,000 a month. If you depends on the CRM you're using, if it's like a HubSpot or something, those cost a lot. So we basically offset all those costs on us, by the way. Gavin is saying, who is giving us lead who want to buy businesses? So I mentioned that earlier in the call. Those could be business owners, private business owners, public business owners, or individuals who are looking to buy a business. Those are the buyers. And sellers, the best sellers are people who are looking to sell because they're motivated to quit and retire, because those most like, and again, it depends on the deal and everything is on a deal by deal basis and case by case basis. But when you work with a baby boomer on the sell side, then you're more likely to get a fair deal for your buyer. That's why I like the baby boomers type businesses versus working with like a fast growing technology company where you're going to have massive competition as an advisor to compete with on that deal. And then it's much more challenging to find a buyer for those businesses. Like, and I know that because I'm very much familiar with that space, right? With the fast growing technology companies. Like if it's a fast growing technology company that's doing more than 5-10 million a year, like you're competing with like big players, like the best investment bankers in the world. So I think it's to start with, make your life easier, make money. Don't focus on being sexy for no reason. Why only closing one deal every 3 months if your leads are increased every month? I just wanted to make it reasonable. You can definitely make more. And by the way, those numbers that you saw are for my first year in business. Second, third year, we made much more. Like we made more than $10 million from those advisory deals only. Vincent is asking, so the goal obviously is that in your second year, you're bringing in more profits and closing more deals, which I just didn't have time to go through what a model like that can look like. Daniel is saying, sorry, Vincent is saying, are you using an AI scheduler? Not sure I understand what you mean. We definitely look into a lot of the AI space to optimize our processes, though. I can tell you that for sure. How many hours do we need to commit? So in the first month, like I said in my financial module, let me open it up again so you see the commitment. So your first month, you're going to have 30 calls booked. On your calendar, probably around 20 are going to show up. So it's 15 hours of committed time on the calendar. And from that, yeah, 10 hours of actual time on the phone on the buy side. And then on the sell side, I didn't even mention that, but initially we'll even send you a lot of sell side deals that you can connect with. I just didn't have time to talk about it, but our goal is to support you on the deal flow completely. Do we have any choice in industry sector? No, it's sector agnostic just because our marketing is sector agnostic. Are we able to do this on a global scale? The answer is yes, I'm doing it on a global scale. So the answer is 100% yes. Rhonda is saying, my name is Rhonda, and 9 people want to start a company. The 10 of us can each pay 300 a month and would cover the 3,000 needed from this. Let me know. We could get together and start a company to be able to enroll. Rhonda is trying to crowdsource something here. I cannot not appreciate it. Super creative. I'm always open to listen to cool creative ideas. Oh man, it's hilarious. I've never seen something like that. Jose, what's the cost for the program? So you can see the links right above your message, Jose. We have a done for you opportunity where we give you all the leads, and we have a done with you where you get everything but the leads. And also with the done for you, you get more access. We have a private group with me and my team. Obviously, we give you more access and more support, but as far as the information and the knowledge, you get everything in and done with you as well. It would be 600 a month each, the rate change. I'm not sure I understand, Rhonda, your question. The pricing are pretty straightforward. You can see them in the pages. Question from Moran, what is the total cost of the pro? Jose, come on, my man, check the links. I'll send it again just for you, Jose, in the chat. Let me put it. I just added the thing in the chat again. Where am I? Sorry, I need to scroll back up now because I just added the link. All right. Yep, Steve. Advisors, main clients are buyers of businesses. Average monthly retainer for 5,000. What makes us as advisors better than broker for sellers? Are there licensing issues that brokers will have in transactions? Okay, so the model that I showed you right now is a buy side. So as advisors, based on the model I showed today, the clients are buyers. Yes. I suggest when you work with buyers to not charge them monthly. Like I suggest to charge a one-time 5,000 retainer, the rest of it at closing from buyers. From sellers, at least to start with. It depends also, again, it's a case-by-case basis, but in the model, based on the model, it's a one-time fee of $5,000. It's not a monthly recurring, right? Mark mentioned he's getting like 30,000 recurring because he's working with big buyers, right? So everything is on a case-by-case basis. So hopefully that answers, based on the model that I showed today, we're just asking for a one-time fee of $5,000 and usually 1 to 5% at closing of a deal. So it's very common to ask $50,000 at closing as a retainer, and usually I like to offset the initial 5,000, right? So basically, I look $5,000 in initial commitment fee, then we ask for additional 45 at closing. So total of 50,000, and assume that we're going to buy on average $1 million business. So hopefully that answers that. Then you're asking what makes so that's on the buy side. Sell side, we can do the same. Sell side usually we take between 5 to 10% from the seller. I showed the buy side model because the sell side takes more time and it's more expensive to get in front of those leads. We have a strategy where if you work with us on this done for you model, we send you buy side leads, then we connect you to deals we already have on the sell side that are interested in buyers. And you could potentially get a separate deal, which I didn't discuss today, with that broker or the advisor that have this seller, right? So we kind of like try to fasten the learning curve. So you get your retainers fast from buyers, and we connect you to sellers that already have an advisor / a broker. Hopefully that makes sense. Then you say, okay, what makes as an advisor better than a broker? I mean, I don't want to say that we're better or not better than brokers. We're doing a very similar work. From my experience, most brokers don't understand a lot about the process, and to be to stay polite. So I believe we're giving much more value as far as the work we're doing in finding deals and supporting them in the process, in connecting buyers and sellers with different people in the process. As far as licensing issues, so no, we have different agreements that allows you to close those deals without you being a broker. And like I said initially, it's closer to you being a business consultant versus specifically a broker, licensed broker, right? We have a way to set it based on milestones. What's the time now? Oh, I can just check that. I'll stay a few more minutes with you just to make sure my next call is not super upset. Check. Okay, I'll stay a few more minutes. I think that where am I? Sorry. Okay, so hopefully that answers, Steve. Good to see you here, Ben. And all right, next, Daniel. Can you walk us through the daily job of an advisor and what we do as an advisor for the 5,000 we charge our customer? Yeah, good question, right? So as a buy-side advisor, the work that you do is your goal is to support them in finding businesses that they can buy, is you can also help them in analyzing deals. You can connect them with banks, and you can connect them with investors, and you can connect them with lawyers and accountants, and you can also quarterback all that process, right? You're basically the person who's holding their hand in the process of buying a business, and you connect them with everything that is needed to close the deal. And guess what? We can support you in connecting you with all those people in the process. So we have introductions to banks that, and by the way, you'll take all those commissions. So we have banks that we can introduce you that will give you 1 to 2% of the loan amount that you refer to them. So let's say you work with a client and he's raising $1 million from the bank will send you 1 to 2% referral fee. So that's another extra revenue sources that I didn't mention here in the model. I wanted to keep things simple. We have lawyers and accountants that will refer you to. So when you refer them to your buyers, they will pay you a small commission as well, depends on the deal size. So it's additional revenue stream for you. And we could potentially introduce some of our investors. Usually we don't take percentage there, but yeah, you're welcome. That could be again, I don't want to overwhelm, that could be another backdoor to you getting equity in those deals as well, if you are really interested in that as well. So that's the work that we do, and guess what? Like, we're going to help you with a lot of it. So your main role will be to be a quarterback. And by the way, I'll tell you, because for those of you who are still here, like, I'll give you a bit of a backdoor extra hour bonus. For people who are going to join our done for you elite process, what we're going to do, which again, this is something I'm thinking about. I'm not sure I'm going to do it yet, but for those of you who follow me, you might be familiar with our accelerator program that I think some of you here I know are in that program. What I'm thinking about doing, I'm still not sure how I'm going to do that, but I might allow you as a buy-side advisor to white label that program and give your client as an extra bonus. So that program could do most of the information work for you. Then your goal would be to support them one-on-one in the process, have weekly calls with the client, usually just to support them, tell them you're working on stuff or doing check-ins on WhatsApp. That will be most of your work. We can help you with all of the other stuff, the introductions. And we also have another stuff that we can share with you on the sell side, by the way. So that's just extra value that you could give potentially people that you'll work with. I'm not sure I'm going to do that because I want to make sure that this is not becoming like an MLM vibe, which is really the last thing that we're doing here and the last thing I want to make it feel like. But I know we have an advisor that asked that if it's possible, and we're considering that. So if we feel like there's enough demand for that, we might find a way to do it in a professional manner. Keen Wong is asking for $500 a month done with you. Do we still get an acquisition email and one-page profile? Keen, yes, the answer is yes. We do that after your second payment to make sure that because we had some issues with that in the past. We want to make sure that you're going to become a legit, you're taking the advisory role seriously, and you're not going to use that email to spam the web and destroy our email reputation. So after the second payment, we're giving it to you. Second month, I think it's second or third payment, something like that. But after 2 months, yeah. Need to double check that. Need to check with the team. But yeah, you get everything, the email, the bio, all of that. Rhonda is still, I like it. Rhonda is saying, thank you, Moran. I'm going to find 9 more people who want to do this, and we're going to set up a company to do this. Like I said, I cannot not appreciate the creative effort here. I don't know what's my answer, to be honest, but after you set it up, let me know. I might consider this just because it's seriously the most one of the most creative stuff I've seen. It's good. Chris is saying, how do you get around needing a real estate license in California to be a business broker? Like I said, so what we're doing is we're being a business consultant. If there is a real estate involved in the deal, we're not taking percentage of real estate deals. If there's a real estate in the deal, which sometimes happen with businesses, I just bring one of my friends, or we have a person in our network that we can bring to help you. And guess what? You could probably have a deal with him as well to take some of the percentage from him. Because if you bring a real estate broker deal, guess what? Like, he's going to be happy, right? So he can help you with all the licensing stuff and whatnot if needed on the real estate part. On the business, you don't need that. Again, this is not the legal advice. This is after me paying thousands of dollars for lawyers to help me with this. So you can always, of course, consult your legal advice and all that. Steve is saying per deal found or fee only once and commission at closing. So our setup, no. So I will not work with a buyer at this point. For me, I will never work with a buyer or a seller unless I'm getting some kind of a retainer commitment fee up front. Because I'm going to spend my time, which again, it might sound like you're not going to spend time because we're going to save you a lot of the time, which maybe it's not clear, but a lot of the times an advisor is spent on finding businesses for sale or finding buyers, right? So both sides, that's a lot of work. That requires it takes your time, it's worth your money. We're going to help you with those deals, so it's not going to take you time, but it's worth you charging for that because you're providing a service. So 100%. Like I will not work with anyone at this point unless I'm getting some kind of a retainer commitment fee up front. I do suggest to people, if they don't have confidence in their first deal, just close the deal just on a percentage only, just so you get the certainty and confidence that you can do that. And maybe after your first deal that is percentage only, even if it's just you closing like an agreement with the client, get the first one on commission only if you don't have the confidence, and the second one, make sure that you charge a retainer when you have the confidence. But for me right now, I will never work with someone unless I'm getting a retainer. Sharifa saying recording, please. Yeah, I'll do my best. I'll see what we can do. Sabri, hey Moran, great to see how far you've come. This is Sabri from 6 years ago. Whoa, would love to chat with you about Done for You and more. I'll book a call with you to chat, just saying hi. Good stuff, my man. Great to see you here. Where do we find the businesses for sale? Dan is asking. Yes, so we do have a full process for that as well. Again, I don't want to overwhelm you too much, but if you're going to join the Done with You, you'll see all the methods on how we do that. If you're going to join the Done for You, we're going to book your calendars with buy-side leads, and we're going to introduce you to deals that we already have in our network, in the pipeline, from other advisors or other brokers that have businesses for sale, so you could quickly get a deal done. But we also have a process to show you how we find sellers. It's just a more expensive path. That's all I would say at this point, to not overwhelm you. But it's a very similar process. It's just more expensive. So if we run ads, to give you an idea, right? If we run ads to find sellers, it will cost us at least three to 5 times more on ads. So it means your budget initially will need to be higher on ads, right? So we have for our done with you processes, because it's just nature. You have many less businesses interested in selling, just the nature of the world, than people or businesses looking to grow. Every business owner that I know wants to grow. Every individual that I know want to make more money. And a lot of them understand that it's very doable to do it with acquisitions. So it's much more cost effective to find them. Sellers, it's possible, it's just more expensive. So I know that if you're going to use our done for you service, it's going to take you longer and it's going to be more expensive to get an ROI. And my goal for you is that if you're going to pay us 3,000 a month, I want to see you getting a return very fast, because I know you won't continue. And my goal for you is to continue to be happy to make a lot of money, to help us grow the brand and be involved in more deals, right? So it just, you can say me being selfish, helping you be successful. I think that's it. So hopefully this was valuable. If you can write in the chat, was this valuable to you? What's your biggest takeaway from today in the chat? I would really, really appreciate it. Just for my own feedback, that will be super, super valuable for me. So just share your biggest takeaway, or give me a rate from 1 to 10. How much did you enjoy the call today? I would really, really appreciate it. And remember that we have a limit for just 4 more done for you clients this month. And I think that that's it. Thanks, Sabri. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yeah, yes, I will put the links one last time for those of you who missed them. Yeah, so those are the links in the chat for anyone who wants to join us. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. All right. For your way to show us. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. All right, so oops, what have I done? Sorry, I did you by accident. Yeah, that's all right. I think that's enough. Good stuff. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you. Have a great one. Take care.